1,500 years ago, a young man stood before a packed congregation on Christmas Day in Constantinople. He sang to them a hymn that no one had ever heard before. Today we're going to be reading from the Kontakion of the Nativity. We still have Kontakia in the Orthodox Church to this day, but ours are a lot shorter than they used to be. A Kontakion was a long extended sermon-like poem or hymn. Regarded as the greatest ever writer of Kontakia and one of the greatest hymnographers Christianity has ever known is Saint Romanos the Melodist, as beloved now as he was when he lived 1.5 millennia ago. Romanos wrote thousands of pieces of work in his lifetime, many of which you will still hear chanted in Orthodox services throughout the year, but the Christmas Kontakion is his most famous work, and his first, and the one that most surprised his listeners. Romanos was of a Jewish background and came from a very poor family in Syria. Even as a little boy, he was incredibly dedicated to the church. When he was still a young man, either a teenager or in his early 20s, he moved to the great city of Constantinople and began to serve in one of the main churches there, and was there every single service, lighting the lamps and helping the altar service. The Patriarch of Constantinople greatly respected Romanos. He saw in him a devout and faithful young man. And in order to help support him in his life in Constantinople, he gave Romanos a wage at the church for what he was doing in the church. But the wage was equal to that being given to the readers and the professional chanters of the church. And they greatly resented this poor boy from the provinces coming and being paid what they were, because they were all trained musicians. They had studied music, and they greatly looked down on young Romanos. The pressure was immense for the lad because he just wanted to serve God. Then on Christmas Eve, he found that he had been tasked with singing the Christmas Kontakion the next day. He had been tasked with writing one in advance of the Christmas service. Some versions of this story say that it was actually other members of the choir that forced this on him as a deliberate attempt to embarrass him, to humiliate him, not just in front of the Patriarch, his friend, or the congregation that was coming for the Christmas service, but the emperor himself who was going to be there. Romanos was terrified. When the Christmas Eve service ended and the church was emptied, he stayed behind, praying and crying long into the night. At one point, he looked to the icon of Our Lady and prayed, "Help me, gentle mother. My mind is empty, my lips are silent. How shall I glorify your newborn son?" He prayed for hours when, in exhaustion and with his cheeks wet with tears, he fell asleep. In his sleep he dreamt, and in the dream Our Lady came to him, gently handing him a small scroll to eat. He took this scroll, ate it, and when he awoke, he was filled with peace, with confidence, and with joy like he had never felt before. And it was Christmas morning. He walked with greater peace for the Patriarch's blessing during the service when it came time for him to sing a new hymn. Under the watchful eyes of hundreds of congregants and under the envious eyes of the choir and the readers, he began to chant a hymn. Now, we won't read all of it here today. We'll only look at some parts of it. If you're an Orthodox Christian, you'll recognize elements of this because we still sing parts of it during our various Christmas services. It was much beloved by the people of Constantinople and was sung every single year going forward at the royal Christmas feast of the emperor. The gift of confidence, of music, and of strength that Our Lady gave to Romanos wasn't a gift he spent just on this one hymn. This was the beginning of his journey as a hymn writer in the church. He combined his unique personal knowledge of Jewish songs with his knowledge of Syriac poetry, as well as his experience with Greek musical culture of his day. His work inspired and continues to inspire millions of Christians, and helped to influence the future of Christian hymn writing. The Kontakion of the Nativity weaves elements of the Old Testament with elements of the New Testament, bringing together elements of the entire Nativity story into one short narrative. It is mainly styled as a poetic discussion between the Virgin Mary and the three wise men as they come to visit. They don't visit her in a room, as the scriptures say, but in the stable itself on the day of the Nativity. The stable is, as we've said in another episode, a cave on the edge of Bethlehem. This is how it's still depicted in Eastern iconography. For Orthodox Christians, Christmas continues to be not a moment we commemorate and remember, but a moment that we celebrate. And so Romanos opens up his Kontakion with the word, today. Today, the Virgin gives birth to him who is above all being, and the earth offers a cave to him whom no one can approach. Angels with shepherds give glory, and magi journey with a star. For to us there has been born a little child, God before the ages. Bethlehem has opened Eden, come let us see. We have found delight in secret, come let us receive the joys of paradise within the cave. There the unwatered root whose blossom is forgiveness has appeared. There has been found the undug well from which David once longed to drink. There a virgin has borne a baby and has quenched at once Adam's and David's thirst. For this let us hasten to this place where there has been born a little child, God before the ages. At this point there comes a sort of conversation between Mary and the baby Jesus. Then the wise men arrive and announce why they've come. They introduce themselves and talk a little bit about the star. For Balaam laid before us precisely the meaning of the words he spoke in prophecy, when he said that a star would dawn, a star that quenches all prophecies and omens, a star that resolves the parables of the wise, and their sayings and their riddles, a star far more brilliant than the star which has appeared, for he is the maker of all the stars, of whom it was written of old, from Jacob there dawns a little child, God before the ages. When Mary heard those amazing words, she bowed low and worshipped the offspring of her womb, and with tears she said, Great, my child, great is all that you have done for me in my poverty. For see, magi are outside seeking you, the kings of the east seek your face, and the rich among your people beg to see you. For truly your people are those to whom you have been made known as a little child, God before the ages. So since they are your people, my child, bid them come under your roof, that they may see rich poverty, precious beggary. You I have as glory and pride, therefore I am not ashamed. You are the grace and beauty of my dwelling and of me. Nod and let them enter. My poverty does not worry me. I hold you as a treasure that the kings have come to see, for kings and magi know that you have appeared, a little child, God before the ages. Jesus the Christ and truly our God secretly touched his mother's mind, saying, Bring in those I have brought by my word. For it is my word which shone on those who are seeking me. To the senses it is a star, but to the mind a power. It accompanied the Magi as my minister, and still stands fulfilling its service, and showing with its rays the place where there has been born a little child, God before the ages. Therefore now receive, Holy Lady, receive those who have received me, for I am in them as I am in your arms. I did not leave you, and yet I came with them. She opens the door and receives the company of the Magi. She opens the door, she, the unopened gate through which Christ alone has passed. She opens the door, she who was opened and yet in no way robbed of the treasure of her purity. She opened the door, she from whom was born the door, a little child, God before the ages. Here the wise men enter the room, and there's a discussion between them and Our Lady, and she asks about the journey of the Magi. And they say to her where they're from the land of the Chaldeans, where they do not say the Lord is the God of gods, from Babylon, where they do not know who is the maker of the things they reverence. From there it came, the spark from your child, and raised us from the Persian fire. We have left an all-devouring fire, and see a fire which brings dew, a little child, God before the ages. Mary then asks them how they managed to get past Herod, how they managed to get through Jerusalem. They tell her that part of the story, and they also sort of point out that they were shocked that the people of Jerusalem didn't even know what was happening here. When their story is done, they present gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And the end of the Kontakion is Our Lady's words to her son. Save the world, O Saviour, for this you have come. Set your whole universe aright, for this you have shone on me and on the Magi and on all creation. For see, the Magi to whom you have shown the light of your face fall down before you and offer gifts, useful, fair, and eagerly sought. For I have need of them, since I am about to go to Egypt and to flee with you and for you. My guide, my son, my maker, my redeemer, a little child, God before the ages. From the life of Romanos, we can take a few personal lessons. One is to love Christ no matter how many people judge us or hate us or make life difficult for us. A creative lesson that I feel we can take is the fact that he called on his own background, his own history, his own culture in order to serve God through hymn writing. He's an inspiring figure, Saint Romanos. Accompanying this episode is an unusual tea that I've been looking forward to try. It is a hojicha tea, which is a type of roasted green tea that I really like, and it includes coconut and chamomile, which is a strange combination, but together it makes a very refreshing tea. The chamomile and coconut is very subtle, but it's there, and I'm really enjoying it. I would also ask, if you are enjoying the show and would like to see it continue, please consider making a donation towards Patristix. I'm not very good at remembering to ask for donations, but we genuinely do need them. This show takes us a lot of time to produce, and we would like to be able to dedicate more time to it, and we'd love it for the show to be at a sustainable point where we can not just keep making Patristix reliably, but also make more of the shows and concepts and ideas that we have. Special thanks to those who have been supports for so long and without whom we could not have still been doing this. God bless you. For now, Merry Christmas, as we celebrate the birth of a little child, God before the ages.